Hey guys, today I'm going to show you some interesting astrological rituals that have to do with the underworld. This is symbolic underworld astrological rituals. And the reason I'm kind of doing this is I've had some synchronicities here in the past few days. And I just happened to do my last video. I talked all about the synchronicities with Bobby Simpson, the number 177, the turkey synchronicity, and the 1377 synchronicities that I had while traveling to Brandon, South Dakota. So this whole video I did last week, or 5 days ago, was all about synchronicity. And I talked about the turkey in that video, and then shortly after that, on the 14th here, we had a coal mine explosion in Turkey, and that has to do with the underworld rituals. But first, I kind of want to go back and talk about, or finish up talking about the synchronicities, kind of how they led me to this video, and kind of finish up some of the stuff I left out. I don't know if you noticed, but in the last video I did, it's kind of chopped up a little bit. I edited some stuff out of there, but I want to show you guys that stuff in this video. So let's cover these synchronicities before we look at the underworld rituals here. So in the last video, I showed you guys the text messages where we were talking about the 177. And I told you guys I went to Sioux Falls, and I stopped at the Watertown gas station, and my odometer was at 137.7. And I told you guys I did that in March, but I went back in my phone and looked at the actual date that I built these speakers. I told you guys I went down there to build these speakers. That was April 17th, 2022. So I went back and looked here on the calculator. And from April 17th, 2022 to the day I did the video was 177 days. And that was like a major thing in the video because I showed you guys how Pontius Pilate was 177. And there's 177 days between the 10/14/2023 eclipse and the April 8th, 2024 eclipse. There's 177 days between these two eclipses that form the X over Uvalde, Texas. Anyways, that's where the 177 came into play, and it just happened to be 177 days after I made the speakers. And there's me making the speakers here. At my sister's place in Brandon, South Dakota. It's kind of interesting too in this video. I talked about, the twin names. I talk about that in a lot of my videos now. The twin names, right? And I just happened to be wearing a sweatshirt that says the Twin Cities on here. You can't read it, but and then another synchronicity I had with work here. On the 6th, October 6th, and this was the when I saw this, it kind of, I guess it kind of prompted me or made me decide to finish the video, or to do the video on the slides I had already made. When I saw this at work, we have a rule book, and of course it's a living rule book. We have it updated on our iPads whenever there's a change. So and we just happen to be on version 1377 on October 6th, and the rest blacked out here, but it has the word twin in it again. And so when I saw this, the twin, I knew I was wearing the Twin Cities thing when I was building the speakers, and that's what my last video was all about. So that's what kind of made me decide to do this synchronicity video. Is when I saw this, I thought, well, I might as well finish finish the slides I'd already started and made. And, you know, another interesting thing about the video that I did on the 11th, of course, October 11th is Oct, which is 811. You know, and the video is all about wormwood and the 1377, right? I show you guys this, the 1377, the ordinal gematria value of Revelation 8:11. But on the 11th, the day I actually made the video, I can't remember what time of day it was, but I had seen that Angela Lansbury passed away on October 11th, and I hadn't thought about her for many years. I had no idea that she was even still alive, but I saw that she had passed away. And then the next day, on the 12th, I was talking to Bobby, and he asked me if I saw that Angela Lansbury passed away, and he told me that he had a synchronicity with the teapot the day before she passed away. He said he was at a soccer game with his twins, and he saw another little girl doing the little teapot dance, you know, singing "I'm a Little Teapot." And then the next day, Angela Lansbury passed away, who of course is famous for her role as Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast. Well, I had a similar synchronicity because the day before she passed away, on the 10th, which was the day before I did my last video about synchronicity, I was sitting in my chair here at my desk, and this is the view from my chair. I don't know, a year or so ago, maybe a little less, I had put up this shelf in our basement, and I took all of our kids' Legos and put them on the shelf. And they've been sitting on the shelf for, since I put them on there, months and months, almost a year ago. They've just been sitting on the shelf. And then the last weekend, my kids, my youngest boy and my daughter, decided they were going to play with their Legos. So they took a bunch of their Legos down and were playing with them in their room. And I saw them playing with them. I was pretty surprised because they hadn't played with their Legos for years. But I told them to be sure that when they're done, to go put them away when they're done. And I went to work, and I came back, and I kind of got home from work the day before the 2 days before I did the video, and I was going to do this video that I did on the 11th. I was going to do it on the 10th, but I was kind of tired and stuff. But I noticed that this Lego was out of place. This Beauty and the Beast castle Lego should have been up here with all my girls' Legos. And I noticed it was out of place, and it was kind of facing backwards. And you can't see it here, but Mrs. Potts is on the back side of here. But I noticed it from sitting in my desk that that was out of place. And that was the day before Angela Lansbury died. And and then the day after she died, Bobby told me about his synchronicity, and I told him, crazy, the day before that I had a synchronicity as well. I noticed that my Beauty and the Beast, or that my daughter's Beauty and the Beast Lego was out of place. So then, after that happened, just to make sure I wasn't, just dreaming things up, I went and asked my little girl. I asked her, I said, did you play with the Beauty and the Beast Lego, or did you move it? And she goes, well, yeah, it was on the top here, but she moved it so she could get to some other Legos. And she never actually played with it. She just moved it to the next shelf down. And, I just wanted to, kind of, she thought I was, she was going to be in trouble or something, because I was like, so curious asking her about the Beauty and the Beast Lego. But I just really, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't, just thinking things up. She said, yep, she moved it to the other shelf so she could get to the other Legos on top that she wanted. So Bobby and I once again had another synchronicity, both with Mrs. Potts and Angela Lansbury. And Bobby sent me a thing, I think the same day or the day after, a few days after Angela Lansbury died, but we were talking about how Emma Thompson played Mrs. Potts in the live-action version of Beauty and the Beast. And he sent me that, her birthday, and I'll show you here why that's so significant. She was born on 4/15/1959, and to the day she passed away, Emma Thompson was 3,313 weeks old. The 3313, and I just gone over that in the last video. On October 11th there, I did that. I did a little review how the 3313 and these three verses are all represented in the events of 9/11. And she just happened to be Emma Watson, who played Mrs. Potts in the live-action version, just happened to be 3313 weeks old when Angela Lansbury passed away. So, another connection there to Revelation 8:11. Now to get to these underworld rituals, and this is something Bobby had pointed out to me. I had mentioned to him, like I said, what's the deal with all these coal stories in the news? Because a few days after I did my video about the Turkey, Turkey had this coal explosion, and Bobby said, well, it could be, the underworld. You think of the underworld, like underground, like in a coal mine. On the autumnal equinox on September 23rd, that's when, the nights get longer and the days get shorter. So we symbolically go into the underworld on September 23rd when we enter Libra. See, we enter Libra on the tropical zodiac. We enter Libra on the autumnal equinox, so that's when our days get shorter and our nights get longer. And we have this symbolic descent into the underworld. And then all during this time of the tropical Libra, after our descent into the underworld, we've had all these interesting, underworld / coal mine stories. We had Loretta Lynn. She passed away on October 4th. She's famous for singing Coal Miner's Daughter. And then we had the Turkey mine explosion, the coal mine explosion on the 14th. And that just happened to be the same day that Robbie Coltrane died. He was Hagrid and Harry Potter. And then, the Potter. We had Mrs. Potts, Angela Lansbury, and Emma Thompson, Mrs. Potts. Harry Potter, the Underworld. So then it made me look at this, look at all the, of course, the potter and the clay from the Bible, very famous references to the potter and the clay, but I looked up all the verses that had the potter in it, and I haven't quite made my connection here. I just kind of looked this up, but anytime there's all these potter, or there's a theme here, you should look in the Bible for the same word or the same theme. But definitely something to look at here with all these underworld rituals with the autumnal equinox entering Libra. And one more thing, since we were talking about 9/11, I had pointed this out to Bobby a while ago, and it has to do with wormwood, of course, but if we go from 9/11, 2001 to November 11th, 2022, which is 9/11 to 9/11, right? Novum is 9. It's 7,731 days, which is just a mirror of 1377, right? 1377, our ordinal gematria value. And I just showed you guys, all the 9/11 connections here. 9/11, we're told that it was Osama bin Laden who became the leader of Al-Qaeda on 8/11. and the South Tower observation deck was at 1,377 feet. So coming up on 9/11, it'll be the mirror or the reverse of 1377 from 9/11 to 9/11. And one more interesting thing I kind of forgot here. I want to show you guys, but with Angela Lansbury and Emma Thompson, there's an interesting gematria connection as well. Angela Lansbury sums to 152 in ordinal gematria, and that's the same as Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson sums to 152 ordinal, and see if I can find it here. What's really interesting, the kind of, Angela Lansbury passed away on Oct 11 or 8/11. And if we look at the first occurrence of 8/11 in the digits of pi, the first occurrence of 8/11 occurs at the position of 152. And Emma Thompson has this 8/11 connection because she was 13 weeks old on 8/11 or October 11th. And another interesting date connection that I want to make with you guys here, show you guys, is this date of 11/11/2022. If we go from the Venus-Pleiades conjunction, I showed you guys many times here, I did a video recently about it, but April 3rd, 2020, we had the Venus-Pleiades conjunction, and it's 952 days to 11/11/2022. And what's so interesting about the number 952, I've actually showed you guys that before, but 8/11 is the 141st prime number, and 8/11 plus 141 is 952. And our 7731, our Wormwood connection, and then the gematria, just some really interesting connections or synchronicities that kind of made me look into this, or I should say finish looking into this 1377 and actually make the video that I did on the 11th. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that. Those synchronicities kind of led me to look at the rest here, and then Bobby, he kind of helped me with this Underworld connection here, and because I couldn't quite figure out why we were seeing all the coal, the Underworld stories, and then he helped me out there with the information on the autumnal equinox, helped me kind of put that together. So okay guys, yep, just wanted to show you that. And of course this twin theme keeps following around. I'm going to do a little bit different video on this slide coming up here shortly. I want to make a more accurate video about the twin names and kind of what that has to do with this idea of Beauty and the Beast is actually, the story is about all these inanimate objects. Their curse is lifted and they become real people again. And, that has to do with the names, right? The current name that you use, the all capital name is the inanimate, the presumed decedent, right? And, you have a living name, right? You're lost at sea, you're considered dead, but you actually have a living name, right? There's a curse. A curse has been put on you, and you need to undo the curse. And just in the way you speak, when you start looking at this name stuff, we've been indoctrinated our whole life about this being our name, when in reality we're just using the name. And you can just if you speak correctly, which is hard to do because you keep, your whole life you learned one thing, and anyways, when you speak correctly, you can separate yourself from this name here. But we'll go into that more later. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Okay, guys, thanks for watching.